Hi guys, this is the definitive Dewalt cordless, brushless, 7 1/4 inch circular saw with Flexvolt technology review. Wow, that's a mouthful. In this week's video, guys, I'm going to talk about this Dewalt DCS 573 circular saw. I'm going to talk about the features and specs of the saw. I'm going to give you some tips about batteries that you can use with the saw because it's confusing. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you guys what I think about the saw after having used it for a year. My name is Nicholas Pecos, guys. My shop is the Pecos Aesthetic. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate the support. Let's get into this video, guys. Thank you. All right, so I'm first going to talk about some features and specs of this saw. I'm going to refer to my computer from time to time because I don't have this stuff memorized. Because why would I? The price is $199. That's just for the saw itself, no battery included. If you get the package where you get the saw, the battery charger, and the carrying case, it comes out to $449. Weight with no battery in the saw is 8.2 pounds. Has a 7 1/4 inch blade. At 90 degrees, the saw has a max depth of cut at 2 9/16 inches. At 45 degrees, the saw can cut up to 2 inches. The bevel capability on this saw is up to 57 degrees. It has a 5/8 inch arbor, an aluminum shoe, which gives the saw good rigidity but keeps the weight down a little bit. And it's compatible with 20 and 60 volt Dewalt batteries. I'll get more into that a little bit later. Some of the features: it has an electric brake, which just means you take your finger off the trigger. The blade comes to a stop quickly. It has a brushless motor, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. It has an LED light in the front, which can be handy if you're cutting at night. I don't know why you would be, but it's got it if you need to do that. And then it's got an integrated rafter hook, which can be handy when you're working on a roof, something like that. So the blade that the saw comes with, guys, is a 24-tooth blade. So general rule of thumb with blades, the higher the tooth count, the finer the cut, the less the tooth count, the rougher the cut. And then the gullets in the blades, the spaces between the teeth, the bigger those are, the faster it can cut because it can remove more material. The smaller, it cuts less fast. So this comes with a 24-tooth blade, which gets the job done. I use my saw for framing, cutting 2x4s plywood, so I don't need a fine cut. But I did put an option, a link in the description of this video, for an upgrade if you want to do that. It's a 60-tooth blade with carbide tips, which just increase the longevity of the blade. And like I said, there's a link. You can follow that link if you want to purchase that upgrade for the saw. So this is a brushless saw, guys. It says it right here on the handle, in case you missed it. And the difference between brushed and brushless saws, I'm not going to get into the technical details of it because I wouldn't do it justice. The take-home message, though, is brushless saws are more efficient and have a longer lifespan than brush saws. Again, it has to do with the way the saws are built. I'm not going to get into it because I don't know much about it. But if you have the opportunity to get brushless power tools, always go with brushless. So I want to talk about Dewalt's batteries. And this is probably my biggest pet peeve with Dewalt is their battery line. It's extremely confusing. The website from Dewalt doesn't make it easy to figure out. It took me a half a day of research to come up with what I've come up with, and to be honest with you, I still have some questions, but I'm going to sum it up for you guys and hopefully it helps you make decisions on what batteries you're going to go with. They offer two main battery sizes, 20 volt and 60 volt. They do offer 12 volt batteries as well. I've never used those tools, so I'm not going to talk about them. For the 20 volt batteries, you have your original 20 volt battery, nothing special about it. Comes in different amp hours, which is just how long the battery will last. The next step up is the XR, and that stands for extended runtime. So that's the thing behind these batteries, is they run a little bit longer. It's an upgrade that Dewalt came up with. The next option available in this category is the power stack. And I learned about this while I was researching this video. I didn't even know they had a power stack battery option. And now that I've already purchased like a ton of XR batteries, it's annoying to find out that they have an even better battery. So it is what it is, right? But they offer a power stack battery, and the selling point in these power stack batteries is they offer 50% more power. They have longer lifespan, and they are more compact. They're also more expensive. So if that's something you're interested, you can go with the power stack batteries. That covers your 20 volt batteries. Now for your 60 volt tools, these are your bigger tools, and then in the case of this circular saw that has the Flexvolt advantage, it just means you can put a 60 volt battery in it and get more power out of it. So their big shtick is that this tool runs off 20 or 60 volt batteries, so it's compatible with prior batteries if you have them. But what they don't tell you is if you run a 20 volt battery in this tool, the power sucks. It'll bind in a lot of material if you're trying to cut through hardwood. I don't have to do often, but if you try to do that, it won't cut through a lot of hardwoods. If you're not getting a perfectly straight cut, the saw will bind as well, which I found frustrating. If I'm cutting through plywood, unless I'm using a track, it's really hard to keep the cut perfectly straight, and the saw will bind, which will stop the saw. So using it with a 20 volt battery is not really realistic. And that's how I ran this saw for 6 months before I found out about the Flex Advantage batteries. So that's kind of frustrating. But if you do pop a Flex Advantage battery in this, you get up to 77% more power, Dewalt says. I don't know if it's exactly 77% power, to be honest with you, but I did put in the Flexvolt battery. I bought one. I got a 6 amp hour battery that ran me about $140, and the saw really does have enough power output with that battery. It makes the saw usable. It takes the saw from something that doesn't really work all that great to now it covers anything I need. I can take it to a job where I'm doing some framing and the saw's never going to bind. It's got plenty of power. It runs for plenty length of time. But that is one thing to keep in mind is these batteries, this is a nice little trick from Dewalt. If it says 6 amp hour on these Flexvolt Advantage batteries, that's if it's running at 20 volts. So if you run it in a 60 volt tool, you're only going to get 1/3 of that. So it says 6 amp hour on the label of the 60 volt battery, but it's really 2 amp hours when it's running at 60 volts. So that's something to keep in mind. They offer 6, 9, 12, and 15 amp hour batteries with the Flexvolt Advantage. So I purchased a 6 amp hour, which means it's only going to run at 2 hours. It's only going to run for technically 2 amp hours. I wish I had purchased a longer battery, but win some, you lose some. So you might want to consider going with a longer amp hour battery, but again, it's significantly more money. The 6 amp hour cost me $130. I don't even want to think about what the 15 amp hour costs. So that's batteries in a nutshell. I hope you find that helpful. So now I'm going to get to the important information, what I like and don't like about the saw after having used it for a year. First of all, what I like about the saw. Obviously, having a cordless tool versus corded is a game changer. That's awesome. On this particular saw, blade changes are extremely easy. Comes with a decent blade. I like that the tool stores in the back of the blade because I would definitely be the guy to lose that blade wrench. With the Flexvolt Advantage batteries in there, the saw has plenty of power. The saw is durable. The saw is accurate. With Dewalt, I like that you're getting good customer service and they have a good warranty. So it's a company you can trust. And I looked up the cost of this saw that, comparable to other major platforms. I looked up Makita and Milwaukee just to get an idea if it was a good cost for this platform. And they both offer 7 1/4 inch saws with comparable features, and all 3 saws are $449. So the saw is priced correctly. What I don't like about the saw, I don't like that the saw doesn't run, it's not powerful enough with the 20 volt and 20 volt XR batteries. It's just not. And I don't like that they advertise it as, oh yeah, we have the saw that you can use with the 20 volt batteries, so you don't have to upgrade, but you can't use it. It's crap without you have to have the Flexvolt batteries in there for it to be powerful enough to work. I also don't like the website and how hard you have to work to learn about the different battery options. They don't make it very clear. I wish the website was more clear and concise. Yeah, that is my review of this saw, guys. Overall, I would say definitely get it. It's a great saw. Hopefully you find this video helpful. If you enjoyed the content, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, that would be super helpful. I would greatly appreciate it. If you like tool review videos and want to learn more about the Bosch miter saw, I have a video that talks about that, the advantages and disadvantages, very similar format to this video. Highly encourage you to check it out. Thanks so much, guys. Videos drop every Saturday. I will see you guys soon.